Hey everyone, this is Brady with Airsoft Headquarters Superstore. I am the manager and head tech here, bringing you a little review in depth with a new gun we're taking a look at. Valken Tactical was nice enough to send us this new battle machine, one of their new Gen 2s, to take a look at. Kind of pull it apart and see what we think of it. So we're gonna go into that. First things about this, we'll do a little bit of an overview. This is the model called the TRG. This is kind of their top end model of the new Battle Machine series. Features a polymer rail, free float styled rail with key mod slots on it. This is similar design to something like the War Sport LVOA. It also features Tango down style grip and then a crane stock, as well as flip up sights that are also fake, kind of like true glow sights, as well as a magazine here which is styled similar to the Magbull P-Mags. Now I'm going to start breaking this gun down and we'll take a look inside and see what it's like. One nice feature that they decided to put with this was the body pins, or the receiver pins here, actually have screws in them. So as long as you keep those screws in place, they're not going to fall out, which is a nice feature. Starting with the upper receiver, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the inner barrel and hop up so we can take a look at that first. It is a full metal hop up unit, which is nice compared to a plastic one. This is obviously going to be much more durable. The inner barrel itself seems like it's aluminum. It is black anodized aluminum, either that or possibly painted brass, one of the two. It is very light, so it's definitely not a steel barrel. Not that we would expect that with something like this. This is not a super high-end gun. It does feature a mock bolt cover inside of here, which is, an extra little flashy feature. We're going to go ahead and put the upper receiver aside and take a look at the rest of the internals. It does feature a fuse in the back, which is completely removable. Kind of some pros and cons to that. A fuse can be nice. It does protect your wiring a little bit in case of a over amperage. However, something like that is pretty rare. And so you can completely remove it, which is nice, because sometimes having a fuse in there can cause some more issues than having no fuse, just with it burning out. Another feature on this gun is it does have a sling plate back here for attaching a sling. It is actually a wider one than a lot of other ones that would allow you to put a strap through and not just a clip on there. Now, before I start diving any further into this, I do just want to add a little something here. I've been working on airsoft guns, doing teching and building guns for over 7 years now. I've built many guns, even from scratch. In fact, I build all of our custom guns here at Airsoft Headquarters Superstore. Our what we call the TFAK customs. So I have definitely seen a lot of different guns, so I will have a very good idea of what brand of parts and quality of parts we're going to have inside of this thing, so I can give you a good idea of exactly what kind of gun this is and and what kind of value it is. Alright, now at this point we do have the gearbox out of the receiver. Looking at the outside, we can see there are bushings, metal bushings in here, which is nice. I can tell you right away looking at this shell, this gearbox here, this is SRC brand, which we knew already from looking at the Gen 1s from Battle Machines. These are OEMs by SRC, but these do at least have the metal bushings, which many SRC gearboxes have plastic bushings, which is not something you want. Those will wear down very quickly, and will eventually cause usually gears to strip inside of your gearbox, because the bushings are what hold the gears in place. But having metal ones like this has is much better. Got the screws out, and we're going to go ahead and open up the gearbox and take a look at all the internals inside. First thing I notice is it is a metal spring guide versus a plastic one, which obviously is going to be more durable. That's always a nice feature. Another thing I noticed right away is the cylinder head here seems to be CNC aluminum. Again, another nice feature, as well as our air seal nozzle here does have an O-ring on the inside. Again, a nice feature. And yes, it is in fact a CNC cylinder head with dual O-ring. Very nice feature, definitely helps with creating a good seal. The cylinder seems to be an aluminum full cylinder, meaning an unported cylinder. And the piston here is polymer head, only 4 ports. I usually like to see more than 4, or at least a little bit better ported than this, but it's better than an unported piston head. But the piston itself does have half metal rack, as well as the first pickup tooth is shaved down for better meshing of the gears. Gears themselves are actually pretty nice, a lot better than older SRC gears I've seen. Those are actually pretty decent. Nothing super fancy, but again, they are very decent. Just your basic trigger contacts, basic trigger, nothing special there. Basic wiring, and like I mentioned before, they are metal bushings in here. They seem to be 6mm, which is a little bit small. Bigger is usually better with bushings, just usually leads to lasting a little bit longer. But 6mm is not terrible. Pretty standard tappet plate. The spring here, like we saw in Chrono, was shooting right about 345 to 350, so this one here is most likely an M100 or an M115, or an M105. The gearbox shell itself is a pretty basic shell, nothing super fancy or something super nice. It does not have rounded corners on the cylinder head or the cylinder window here. They're not what's called radiused. Doing so when you round these corners here does lead to a little bit stronger, because a rounded corner is stronger than a square corner, so that would have been nice to see, but a lot of brands don't have that, so it's not something that's unseen. So we're going to go ahead and put this all back together. quick going over the motor before I put it back in. It is just a basic stock SRC motor, nothing fancy about it whatsoever. They're okay motors, you know, nothing super great, but not the worst. There we have it, the disassembly. Real quick overview again, just so you can see all of it. A nice gray look. I'm personally a big fan of gray on guns, so this does look pretty nice. For what the gun is, more of a beginner gun. You're looking at price range of somewhere around like $130 to $180 for any one of the new Gen 2 battle machines. Look at the internals and the build quality. This is actually a pretty decent gun. I would recommend this for beginner to mid-grade rifles, so come check them out.